Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's Jim Keller, everybody.
And welcome to another edition of the Tech Routine with me and George. We're slowly getting things set up, but George joins me here in Europe.
Yes, I am in Hamburg, Germany. So for ISC.
Is it the worst?
No, it's the currywurst.
It's the currywurst. Yeah, so you've been at International Supercomputing.
Yeah, so I was a little bit late on publishing the news because I wasn't pre-briefed. But we got some news that I really wasn't expecting this year.
The top 500.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the world of supercomputing. We'll get into it a little bit of the show. I didn't go to ISC, even though I have a few clients there, just because it feels like the event itself is running down.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from going to an event, what made you want to go?
Besides that, so I went because I wanted to sort of figure out, because a lot of the Europeans recently, a lot of the European silicon vendors announced tape outs. So Cyprel announced tape out, Semidynamics announced tape out, and I wanted to figure out what they are doing, right? So that's mostly why I came. And then the top 500 changed. And then I went, what the blank?
Our good friend Ezra says it was the largest ISC ever in terms of attendance.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes. It was like 3,700, which is bigger than previous years.
I'm pretty sure it used to be 12,000.
This may be the highest post-COVID. Let me put it that way.
Right. Yeah, 37. Also, yeah, so 4.5.
4.5K. That's still small.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I remember going pre-pandemic, and it was still. It had a bit of the C-bits about it. And if you don't know C-bit, if you're too young to know C-bit, C-bit was meant to be not entirely, but the European version of like CES or Computex. It was like the 2.5 brother or sister of those two events. And it just stopped because people stopped attending because it became less and less relevant. And this is what I'm thinking about ISC.
Yeah, ironically enough, I think the one that yeah, because honestly, as much as this pains me to say, can the HBC community even support more than one big event a year? Now,
there's also Asian HPC conferences.
Well, there's CS Asia, right? CSA.
Yeah.
But CSA, as far as I know, is a fairly small conference.
I mean, but that's growing.
It's growing, but it's not like it's on the uptick, but it's not, you know.
Well, were there many other press there?
Not really. Like, I think I was the only, like, other than HBC Wire, which is everywhere, like all the HBC events, because they cover everything.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only non-dedicated HPC media that is here.
That's more of an industry thing. It's the same with smartphones. It's the same with storage. You very rarely see the non-storage press at a storage event. You very rarely see non-smartphone press at a smartphone event. There's a lot of niches around, and that sort of press tends to go in groups. It's like a DAC later in the year. The design conference for EDA. There are certain press who I only see there because they're part of the EDA press, but also for some of them, that's the only event they go to in the year. There's not that many EDA events in the year.
No, there isn't. Actually, I got an invitation for that event from a company that I need to respond to because they emailed the day I was flying out, so I didn't get to send a response. But they're doing
Did you get invited to the cruise?
Yes, you know exactly what company this is. Are you going?
Not on the cruise, no. Well,
I may go just for the sets, right?
So one thing to know that as at these events, there are companies that will put on additional things in the evening, and it's usually food and chats with executives, and just not exactly boondoggle. It's networking, and 90% of the time, it's also for customers and partners. So you get a chance to meet and eat and drink with them, and either learn something or just socialize. The one company at an upcoming event has invited the press going to go on a small boat tour for, I guess, 2 to 3 hours, leaving Long Beach, leaving the harbor. I don't know, may end up in Catalina. Who knows?
Hey, that'd be cool.
No, but then they drop you off, and then you have to write something good about them in order to get back. I'm not a fan of these physically restrictive social engagements. Right? I need the opportunity to take an Uber and leave, because other things may pop up, and who knows what mobile signal you get there. The only time the only time that I've been invited to a on the sea sort of thing was, I think 2016. It was part of an event, and they said it was a multi-day event. It's like, day 2, we're going to take boats out and go see the sunset. Our coach didn't arrive to the boat until after the sunset. And then they tried to provide us with like silver service food catering, yet the boats were basically, there wasn't an enclosed space. It was all open. And so plates and food and plastic cutlery and napkins were flying everywhere. And nobody could speak to each other because you couldn't hear, because the boats were going so fast that they could do the loop before sunset ended. Yet we just arrived way too late. Nothing happened on the boat. Everybody got back really tired and turned around and said, "What is the point of that?"
I can imagine.
So I get it. They're trying to do. This is the dichotomy of those sorts of press engagements, right? Okay, you've got partners, you've got customers, whatever. And for press new to the game, it does sound fun and interesting. For example, Computex, trip to Taiwan. If you've never been to Taiwan before, it's kind of cool. Same with Hamburg, probably. That sort of thing. But eventually you just realize, hamburger in not a Motel 6, maybe something a bit nicer in the middle of Ohio, that's fine by me.
Yeah.
Right? Because what you should be talking about that should be the thing that excites us, not the fact that you're in the New York Stock Exchange for the day.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So and yes, I've been on my fair share of boondoggles.
Who hasn't?
It's I know it's also an age thing as well. There's a lot of subconscious things around it, right? If you are positive, if you try and make the experience positive to the press, then the idea is that the press will be positive to what you're announcing in general.
Yeah.
And some people say the same thing about sampling, hardware sampling, right? The company only sends you a sample, so you should be nice to them or whatever. Company sends you a sample.
Yeah, upside down. There you go.
Yeah.
I wonder what's in that, or what isn't in that anymore.
You may have noticed in the past week, the reviews for this thing go live. I unfortunately have not had the time to go through it. The MSI Claw 8 AI Plus featuring the Intel Arc G3 Extreme. And
Is that the full name of it?
MSI Claw 8 AI Plus.
Okay.
You mean the processor is just the Intel G3 Extreme?
No, I know, but is it with the Intel G3 Extreme?
No.
Or is it just okay? So I was wondering if the width was part of the product.
No, it's not. And yes, I have turned it on. That is the what is the right country do you live in for Windows installation? But yeah, no, I saw Wendell and a few others put their reviews out because it, G3 Extreme is quite a nice processors based on Wildcat Lake, but no, based on Panther.
Yeah.
Well, we saw this at Computex, right? Did they tell you how much it costs?
No, not that I remember, at least.
So it's an 8-inch OLED screen, battery life anywhere between 3, 8, maybe a few more hours if you put it in efficiency gaming mode. 1 terabyte drive. I can't remember whether it's got 16 or 32 gigs of memory in it. I think it's got 32
Probably
actually.
16. Maybe.
$1,500 or thereabouts.
So I have a story to tell as the intro, because you usually ask how I've been, and I have a story to tell about these. If some of you've noticed on this newest video, I have a different set of frames. I have a story to tell y'all.
Is this a story for the show or a story for the pre-show?
It's appropriate. So it's a story for the show.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Well, I think we're dialed in and people are filtering in, which is always good. Let me get my words up here. Let's begin. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Tech Routine, the weekly-ish podcast where we talk about processors and silicon and how we've taught very special rocks to think in very special ways. We're called the Tech Routine because my name is Ian and I run a channel called the TechPotato, and my co-host is George from Chips and Cheese. If we had a guest, it would be the gravy, thus making it a lovely Tech Routine. Our sponsor today is me, because I have
what nice eyes.
A very, very, very appropriate, and we showed it off, I think, before, but now it's arrived.
Ooh, thinking longer for better answers. Nice.
On a mug. And I need to get a new drink soon. So yeah, if you'd like to see any of that merchandise, head on over to shop.techtechpotato.com. But we do accept and read super chats made by our listeners and watchers, only if they don't demonetize the channel. The show usually lasts a good couple of hours, sometimes more, but stick around and we'll get to your Q&A. But today's first question is to George, as always. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Although, let me tell you that story about these glasses. So 2 days before I was supposed to go to Germany, right? I wake up and my parents... So it happened to be my parents' anniversary. So they went to the Redwoods in California. So they weren't home, which is a big part of the story, because I go to pick up my glasses and I notice that the left like armature fell off, like literally fatigue, like the metal fatigued and fell off because they were 4 years old, right? So I'm in a panic because I'm like, oh, I need my glasses because I can't see without my glasses. If you've met me, you know I am blinder than a bat without them.
Some people might say blinder with them as well.
Yeah, I mean, why not both? So luckily, I had a pair of spare sunglasses, so I was able to drive to Lens Crafters, which is a lens store in the US, and they said, sorry, we can't fix this, and we can't get you replacement glasses. I was like, darn, okay. So I went to the place that I actually got the glasses from, and they couldn't fix it, but what they did was they reshaped the lens and then put it into a new frame. Unfortunately, these are plastic frames, and they have a horrible habit of falling off of my face. So I have been wearing my headphones as literally not listening to anything, but just to press them against my face so they stop falling down.
It's like you need to add a little notch on your nose.
Yeah.
Like some silly putty or something.
So it's...
mind you, it is warm right now in Europe. How's the heat in Germany?
It hasn't been that bad today. There was a nice breeze. It was like 34 Celsius, which perfectly normal for me.
We hit triple figure Fahrenheit. Warmest June day on record. And I am sweating through all my clothes. Luckily, I have purchased air conditioning. It's out of shot, but it's on, and it's set to 19 degrees, and it's still not enough.
No, is it a dual unit or is it a single?
So if you want me to rant about the fact that you can't buy a dual hose unit in the UK because for some reason it's not a thing here, oh dear God.
So you would kill me, but my computer room has a dedicated AC of its own because otherwise it does legitimately get too hot in there.
So some people say, why don't you buy a window unit? And the problem is British European windows aren't American windows. You can't just open it up and they're not sliding. They open out and up and down and around. So units don't fit in our windows. But it has I've tried to stay in this room as much as possible because it's the only room in the house with aircon. Which has meant it's been actually quite difficult to get proper work done.
Yeah, I can imagine.
When it's
I know someone has been basically staying at a coffee shop and doing their work at the coffee shop because it's just too hot.
Well, it's in this heat, not to be crass or anything, but you pee a lot less.
Yeah.
Because you sweat so much of it out.
Yeah. So have you had, well, you know the experience, but the Europeans that haven't had this are starting to experience it, where you take a shower and you're not dry until the night. You take a shower in the morning. Yes, and hot.
I don't have that problem because I use what's called a hairdryer. That helps. That helps dry me.
But
it's the when you sweat before you're dry. That's the issue I have. That's the issue that's right now. So we've been having a lot of fun, but it's been an incredibly busy week. Not
yes,
only
it has been.
and I'm not sure how much of it has been piled on all at once. knowingly or unknowingly. I mean, we knew this week was ISC, right? And George has some news from ISC to say. We kind of knew Qualcomm was having their investor day at some point around this time. Unfortunately, I never got a formal invite or anything.
I didn't know of it. It was a surprise to me because I wasn't keyed into it.
They said back at Computex during their keynote, if you want to know more about Dragonfly, our server stuff, come to our investor day at the end of the month.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that part of it.
Yeah, they said it a few times. We've also we were given 2, maybe 3 days notice about IBM's big news this week on their new process node technology. Steam Machine was this week, wasn't it, or was that last week?
It was this week.
Yeah, so that as well. OpenAI announcing hardware this week, again, kind of out of nowhere. It's been a crazy time. So let's go into the first of our big topics, and I'm gonna share this if we can. Do it this way. IBM announces it has new transistor node technology that they're calling NanoStack. You can head over to More Than More to read what I would characterize as one of my classic AnandTech deep dives. After being briefed, after pouring through several research papers and not understanding some of it for like 2.5 hours, and then it finally clicking, I wrote 7,000 words about IBM's new process node technology. It's the best way to describe it, and here's a wafer, is that in the world right now we have 3 types of transistors mass-produced in chips. This one on the left, which is planar, that's pretty much in everything above 1622 nanometer. Then we have FinFET in the middle, and some of you may remember the big noise that FinFET made back in 2012 when Intel launched it for the first time. And pretty much every EUV process builds FinFET transistors. Gate-all-around is the next one on the right here, showing multiple sheets surrounded by the gate. And the first processors on that technology came out end of last year. Unless you want to be really anal and say Samsung technically shipped some in 2022 to a Bitcoin mining provider. But in terms of commercial use, 2025.
Technically, you could argue 2024 with their watch, which was SF2, I believe. I think that was
SF3 got renamed to SF2 just to complicate things.
Yeah, it's technically, I think you could argue that it shipped in 2024, but yeah.
In any rate, volume is essentially 26. Now, IBM announced their first gate-all-around technology back in 2021. So there was a 5-year lag between them announcing it, and ultimately the company that's actually licensed it is called Rapidus, and they won't come out with their version until 27. But Samsung, TSMC, Intel, the processor in this uses gate-all-around technology.
This is also a gate-all-around laptop.
So they're here. Now, each one of these types of transistors has had multiple generations. Planar's had thousands, but FinFET, I think TSMC is on their 4th generation FinFET technology. Intel's on their 3rd or 4th. And Gate-All-Around is expected to have, again, another 3 to 4 generations of improvements as they refine the manufacturing process. The question is, what's next? And that's what IBM has built. What's next is this one on the right called CFET, complementary FET. This one that's kind of in the middle called Forksheet. That's seen more as a variant of the nanosheet of the Gate-All-Around. So normally, you may have heard the term CMOS, complementary metal oxide semiconductor. The reason why it's complementary is that you need what's called an nMOS and a transistor and a pMOS transistor to work together. And when it comes to FinFET or Gate-All-Around, you typically put them side by side. With Forksheet, you put them essentially touching with a barrier, but that's still technically called a Gate-All-Around. But complementary FET puts one on top of another. Now that naturally has problems. If you try and build it monolithically, you need to make sure that as you build the top layers, you don't interfere with the bottom layers. Unfortunately, building some of this stuff requires 1,000 degrees annealing temperatures and what have you. So that makes it difficult. The other way to do it, so here's an example of TSMC with one of their designs. You may see here that each of these on the right has 4 sheets. Right, whether it's N or P, this was a 1 or 2 sheet or 1-on-1 design back in 2024 from TSMC. Again, research stuff, right? And here we go, another look, at the complementary FETs. The thing is, you can either build them monolithically, or you can essentially build one on one wafer, one on the other, and stack them. And that's called sequential complementary FETs, or SC-FET. And so you end up with a diagram that kind of looks like this. Again, you've got your regular Gate-All-Around on the left, the nanosheets. You've got your Forksheets, that sort of intermediary gap. And then you've got mono CFET and sequential CFETs with bonding. Now, there's another problem with that. You stack 2 wafers together. How fine is your bump pitch? If you were here when we spoke about Huawei, I went on a big rant about bump pitches and hybrid bonding and everything else. Turns out IBM's not doing either of those. And if you want to know why and exactly what they are doing, you have to know about crystal lattices.
So actually, and maybe we can get to this a little bit later, but what makes this different from what Huawei announced?
So Huawei announced their logic folding technology, where you take different parts of your design and then put them on different silicon, and then use hybrid bonding to put them together. Now, what Huawei is doing, it looks like it's done on a cell level, right? So when you have a foundry node, you make transistors like these, and then you put transistors into what are called standard cells. And this is your building blocks of your IP. With their IP splitting, they're splitting, the dimension in which they're splitting is likely on the cell level. Now, a cell can have as few as, say, 6 transistors. It could have as many as 28, right? But the point is, you've got a cell of transistors, and then you might be stacking one on one die, one on another. In this case, you've actually got, if you were to do sequential CFETs, as I described, as one wafer on top of another, which again is not what IBM's doing, but we'll get to that in a second. But if you're doing layering the transistors on top of each other within a single cell, that's where the line is drawn. And I actually have a diagram later on to show that. But what IBM are doing is that it's been this thing about crystal lattices. As you imagine, silicon exists in an infinite lattice array, and the thing is, only certain types of lattices are what's the best way? Are homogeneous, as in you can cut it any way and it looks exactly the same, right?
Okay.
It's the thing is, it's in actual fact is more like a cake, right? You can cut a cake from the top.
Is it a lattice or is it a cake?
It's both. But the thing is, nobody does this, but you can cut a cake horizontally.
Yeah.
Right?
You're a psychopath.
Yeah. But the thing is, it turns out these two types of transistors, this sort of nMOS and pMOS, they prefer the cuts in different directions. To get a better performing transistor, you have to have cuts in different directions. So what Huawei do, and this is the diagram, but it's the easiest way to describe it is you build your bottom part. In this instance, you build your pMOS, right? Regularly. It's like standard gate all around technology. Then what IBM do is they take the gate material, they build it on another wafer, and then do a bonding transfer. So they bond the new gate material onto the first wafer. It's done with what's called a carrier wafer. Then you take the carrier wafer away, and then you use standard litho etch to build the other transistor in the reverse order.
So you're if I'm understanding this correctly, you're doing what you could call a double etch? Like,
well, you have to do multiple etches because there's multiple sheets and liners and everything else.
Sure, but like, okay, with this, so usually we talk about like, for like etching, like litho etch,
yeah,
or LE. Like if you've ever looked at those terms, that's what that means. Would this be like LE times 8? Like 8?
So normally when we speak about litho etch, we're talking about how do we make one layer, right? That's where you have double and quad patterning from.
Yes.
Not as you're building up layers, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I'm thinking about this from a manufacturability standpoint. Would you actually need any like truly new tools for this?
No.
Okay. No. Which makes this a lot more feasible than other.
Well, so the thing is, you can grow silicon in a different lattice orientation epitaxially, right? There are machines to do this. Unfortunately, it's quite hard and damaging to yield if you do it on your transistors you've already built on top, right? And you may have to put it into a thermal environment you don't want to put it into, like a 2,000 degree furnace. Oops, suddenly, all mush, sort of thing.
Oops, all mush.
Oops, all mush. So the way they get around this is by essentially transplanting some, transplanting the gate with a different lattice orientation on top of the pMOS, and then build the nMOS in that. The beauty of it, there's two angles which makes IBM's solution actually really interesting from an engineering point of view. One, you're not creating connections. So there's no such thing as a bond pitch or a bump pitch. So all the arguments about how small can you get your bump pitches don't apply here.
Or irrelevant here.
Because you etch them into the new crystal. And through the bonding oxide. So your limitations are what you can etch and fill, not what you can bond together, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
The next is that they don't. This is the process I described basically, and they've found a way to get over some of the temperature issues. What they've done is instead of putting one on top of each other, they build them off step, which is what I call which is kind of what I call wonky, right? It's like how you build a house with bricks, right? It's staggered.
Yeah.
So they're calling this a staggered sequential CFET.
So an SSCFET.
Yeah. And I'm going to bring in this diagram because this shows it reasonably well. On the left, you've got standard gate all around. And at the bottom, you can't see my mouse, unfortunately. At the bottom, you've got the gray, which is the power. Then you've got your 3 sheets. Then you've got the signal on top. So this is like a backside power delivery, right? When you're dealing with stacked complementary FETs that are aligned, right? Where do you put the signal? And where do you put the power? Unfortunately, you've got to come in from both sides to do both.
Yeah.
Right? I actually just realized this diagram is wrong a little bit. On the right-hand side is what IBM have done. And the idea is that you can have power and signal in both without interfering with each other.
Is one of the ones on the right side supposed to be power,
yes.
I assume?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But so power coming up from one side and whatever. The other thing is, you notice the red and blue arrows?
Yeah.
Right. So the red arrows in the middle, because of all this congestion, mean that your sheet widths have to be smaller. If you do it in a staggered dimension, you can actually make them bigger. And bigger sheets means higher performance.
It also can mean, well, it means higher current.
Yes, which can lead to higher switching frequency.
Yeah.
And so you want your high performance transistors to be big gates. There are knock-on effects. It's hard to build big gates, but
I like big gates and I cannot lie.
Yeah. Is that a t-shirt we need to do?
Yes. Can you tell that it is 9:45 my time?
Don't make a note. We need that t-shirt. So the thing is that you might think, well, hang on, this doesn't sound all that innovative, really. What you're doing is you're building gates, then you're dumping some stuff on, then you're building some more gates, but you're building the gates like we're already building in gate all around, right? There's nothing special in that. And IBM made it a point to tell me in the briefings that the secret sauce is in their bonding, right? And how they bond the crystal lattices together. You've just noticed the title of this section.
Yes, I have. Yes. It's very appropriate that I'm in Germany too.
Maybe so. So we have this diagram, this AMD slide, which came up again during the Huawei thing, and we were thinking, where does Huawei sit? Huawei kind of sits on this IP folding splitting, and the idea is that your through silicon vias, the contacts you need to make in hybrid bonding, require this much. Circuit slicing, where you've got transistors on different chiplets. Well, hang on, that sounds like what we just talked about with IBM. The difference here honestly,
it's even more to the right, honestly.
Well, so the thing is, this definition, you could call what IBM is doing circuit slicing. However, this definition of circuit slicing requires the use of through silicon vias.
And IBM's doesn't. Which,
and IBM's,
again, puts it off to the right.
Because it's not, the silicon vias aren't bonded, they're etched into the design.
So then actually, would you even say that it fits onto the slide? Like,
so I tried to come up with something. Yes, I did use AI for this, you might imagine. Where yes, it's a lot more off to the right because you're not using vias. What you're actually doing is what's in this diagram, and it's this blue line. It's what they call the bonding oxide. Now, and you end up having your gate stack on each side, and you end up doing this etch through in order to create the connection. Because you need your nMOS transistor connected to your pMOS transistor, and that's how complementary works. And they call this the gate merge. And they would not tell us any detail about how they do this, because this is where all the secret sauce lies, in the bonding. They did say that for every 10 nanometers of bonding oxide, you lose about, or you increase capacitance by about 2.5% at the cell level.
Interesting.
But what they did say is that they can deposit this bonding dielectric to help them bond together with an accuracy of 1.5 nanometers. As in when you polish your wafer with your bonding oxide on top, the variation across 300 millimeters is plus minus 1.5 nanometers.
Insanity.
Well, I mean, you've seen the numbers with Zeiss, right? Picometers on a meter long mirror. And the thing is, once you apply, on the left here, once you apply the gate material where you build transistors in, it looks like where it is in C, right? You've got your bottom transistor, and the thing is, what confused a lot of people is this diagram on the right.
Because that looks like a regular transistor almost.
Yeah. What they've done is they've taken two different images and then just put them they've just put them underneath each other because they've got limited space to put in the paper.
Yeah.
And that's all that is. And they were showing how the performance of, this is a diagram showing how the performance of the transistor, the key number here is 70 or 68. This is how the transistor reacts to voltage and how it allows current through. And then we have pure numbers regarding cell heights, metal pitches. One of the advantages of doing stacked is you don't need as many tracks for power and signals. So you can make your design smaller.
So effectively, what they can do is they can make a design not denser but smaller via fewer tracks.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yes. Now the thing is, on the face of it, you'd think, well, hang on. If we're going from 2 gate all around side by side to one on top of each other, shouldn't that double my density overnight?
No.
Well, the thing is, it kind of does.
Yes, but also not quite. Like,
there are other things that need to be considered that can't do that. But what they're seeing is a 50% improvement in power.
50%
No,
50% performance improvement and a 70% reduction in power.
Yes, there we go.
Yep.
The thing is, I looked at this graph and I went, there's a better line here to draw, right? Take the best performing, or the highest performance 2 nanometer nanosheet. What power now NanoStack would you need for that performance? You get this line.
Yeah, that's what, 200-ish? Just over? No, 79%, you're right. I'm thinking in terms of decrease.
So going from gate all around to NanoStack, your highest performance gate all around transistor only needs 80% less power to do exactly the same. That's insane, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
That's what, a 400% decrease in power? No. Sorry, a 400% improvement in performance per watt. right? If I
Something like that.
yeah.
Now, the thing is, up to now, everything I've mentioned was in a 2005 paper. So you're thinking, Ian, why are we talking about it now? Well, in 2026, we have the issue of SRAM scaling.
Yeah.
So onboard caches, and we know what the leading numbers are from the competition, right? This all came out in ISSCC last year, excuse me. And it I think it was my most popular tweet of the year. Now, using this, we have cell area, right? You may notice that why is this cell area smaller, but the bit density the same as Intel? And it's all to do with what you do around it as well, because it also includes the periphery and the control circuitry and everything else. What IBM are saying is that they can increase this density by about 50 to 60%. Which in terms of raw numbers would be 90 megabit, but because actually you only operate about 60% of that, it's about 60 megabit.
So about about 50 to 60% increase, which is still very nice.
Yeah, which would people like bigger L1, bigger L2?
Yeah. So Aurora in chat says, I haven't actually read everything, but wouldn't the different Miller indices of the crystals mean that your threshold voltages are even more significantly different between pMOS and nMOS? I'll let you answer this, Ian.
Yeah, so the Miller indices are basically trying to improve this graph, and making sure that the response is as expected. This whole 70 millivolts per decade means that for every 70 millivolts difference, you should have a order of magnitude change in the current, right? And planar transistors, I think, got down to about 70, 75. FinFETs, I've got it here. FinFETs can be from 65 to 85. Planar can be around 80 to 100. We've got FDSOI can actually go down to about 65, and gate all around is expected to be 60 to 75. It's all about ensuring the predictability, the reliability, and there's like a mean time between failure with regards to leakage current with transistors, and it just turns out that with the right lattice cleavage, you can improve that number. So what we're saying is IBM have succeeded in both bondage and cleavage.
Again, very appropriate that I am in fact in Germany.
So let's get to the transistor numbers, and transistor density, because this is what everybody cares about. And I'll come back to the top here, because in this article I wrote at the top 666 million transistors per square millimeter.
Yes.
Right. And the reason why I say 666 and jokes therein is that when IBM announced gate all around back in 2021, they said it was 50 billion transistors on the size of a fingernail. And I said, how big's your fingernail? And we made estimates of around 150 square mil. So if you do the math, that comes out to 333 million transistors per square millimeter for their gate all around. So now they turn around and say, well, we can do 100 billion now in the same area. So that's where the 666 comes from. The thing is, we have a table showing us track height,
Yes.
metal pitch, cell height, and contact poly
So you
pitch.
can back
So you
reverse
can-
it.
Yes. Now, the question is, do you use industry standard mathematics or do you use Huawei mathematics?
Industry standard, because we're not doing Huawei math in here.
So, with the numbers, right? IBM's original nanosheet 2 nanometer
Mm-hmm.
was reported as 333. It should have been 219 to 272. Why a range? Because there's something called diffusion breaks and dummy gates. And whether you're using a single diffusion break or a double diffusion break, it affects your overall density. If you're using Huawei math, it would have been 370.
Huawei math for the win.
Now, the new for numbers for IBM NanoStack, best case, so this is single diffusion break, with the lowest numbers in terms of cell height and gate pitch, would put this at 548.25 million transistors per square millimeter, not 666.
But
However,
666 is funnier.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, the number that went around last time for 2 nanometer, 333, I'm the reason why people said 333.
Huh. So you're saying that we're going to have 666 going around?
I have tried not to be that obtuse. I put it up in the top in the summary, but if people want to read below and actually get the number, they can. And again, with Huawei, this comes out to 744. But you do notice it's about double.
Yeah.
Anyway. And to put that into perspective, here are some of the current numbers on current popular process nodes. Now, all these Huawei numbers are using not only Huawei math, but also Huawei stacking, which again, I didn't agree with, was a genuine way.
So double Huawei math.
Yeah. So instead of Jensen math, we've got Huawei math. But these other numbers, so we got these from Kernel Insights. For example, Intel 18A. This is just the high density transistor counts as well, not the high performance, because you trade off. So yeah, TSMC N2 is apparently going to be 236. Intel 18A is going to be 184. Huawei said that this year they're at 155. Though SMIC N2, N plus 2 is 92. So
and SMIC N plus 3, I believe, is like a bit in between N5 and N7. If I remember what the rumors are saying correctly.
And if you remember back in the day when we were fawning over Intel 14 nanometer, so or even Intel 6, that's Intel 16, that's their 22 FFL. But we're at 10 times that almost now already. And with NanoStack, we're going to get another sizable jump. So there are other parts of the puzzle in this.
I was going to say, so the rest of the owl.
Yeah. The three main things came out of the Q&A. I'll just put that to the side for a second. Three main things came out of the Q&A. One, do you need high NA? And the answer is technically no, because all you're doing is you're building the gate-all-around transistors we already make today, but you're just doing it in a new process set of steps. But you can use high NA because some of the metal pitches would work better with a single exposure rather than a double. You're just improving yield doing it that way. Second is that the way that they've designed this is that you can theoretically stack multiple transistors on top of each other. So right now we see a stack of 2.
So maybe go to a stack of 4.
Yes.
Because I don't think you can do like NMOS, pMOS, NMOS, or Just a stack.
So this is a thing. Are you talking chiplets or are you talking actual stacked transistors?
Like actual transistor stacks.
No. This is a question to IBM.
Right? Okay.
And IBM seems to imply it was actual stacked transistors, and not just chiplets with TSVs.
Well, yeah, I mean, based on the rest of this announcement, I would have assumed that that number would be the number of stacked transistors, not the number of chiplets, because we've seen presumably you've seen the whole leaked like BIOSes from AMD with like 8 high Vcache or some such stuff. Like we've hypothesized about multiple stacked, like, and depending on how you count, you could argue that something like Vcache is technically multiple stacks.
I took this picture yesterday.
Not Vcache, but Clearwater Forest. Excuse me.
Can I add another image to this, or is it gonna kick me out? Yeah. Do you see that?
Yeah.
That's that's my motherboard now.
Oh, okay.
Right. So
but my point is that we've been talking about this for a while, whereas stacked transistors is not new, but kind of what IBM was talking about.
But AMD stacking is, in this case, is chiplets through silicon vias, not what IBM's doing. And the third thing is timeline. Right? It's all very well saying we can do this, right?
But when?
But when? And no, the thing is, IBM announced Gate-All-Around in 2021, and it's not really until 2026 we're seeing volume, and it's not even the same process, because Intel and TSMC and Samsung built their own.
Well, Intel and Samsung did use IBM technologies, as far as we understand.
The licensing is on the patents, not the process.
Yes, yeah, that's what I mean. Is while we may not see this from, say, Rapidus until, let's say, 2033, right? Because they're
2028 volume.
Okay, so let's say 2035 from Rapidus. We may see the technology in an Intel process earlier or a Samsung process earlier, right?
Well, like I say, we've still got 3 or 4 generations of Gate-All-Around, right?
Mm-hmm.
And realistically, they're 2 to 3 years apart. When we saw Gate-All-Around, we were already 2 generations into FinFET.
Yes.
Or even 3 even from Intel.
Yeah, we were 3.
Right, because Intel was 2012 when they came out with their first FinFET.
Yeah, because it was 22, 14, 10, and then if you want to count Intel 7 as part of Intel 10, then that's the same generation, which...
But so IBM said it's going to take at least 5 years to get this to commercial.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be I think that's optimistic.
Okay.
I would be more of the 7 to 10.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's the thing is it's very easy to build a test chip, right? We don't know, and this picture of a wafer here, we don't know how many wafers they've made. And
that could be the wafer.
Well, this one would be a demo wafer. This would be one of the failures. And the thing is, these aren't CPUs. These are adders. These are inverters. These are
the building blocks of making a CPU, but not the CPU.
These are what they call test vehicles, and a chip on a test vehicle will have over 2,000 different types of components. And I'm not sure if I can do this on this. Let's see if I can get this on this screen. If I can. No, I think that's just going to be a black image. I want to zoom in and show people exactly
yeah, I
what's
was just
going
going to
on.
say, we got a super chat from Jay that says, SMH George, how dare you not text me that a tech Poutine was happening. One, my phone is over there running it because I was getting German interneted, and two, I did put it in the craft Discord.
So this is what a zoom in.
Ooh, pretty.
It looks like bird poop on the wafer. But yeah, this is their high quality image that they gave us. Or maybe I can find a different one. Yeah. The system we use does not make it easy to share or change screens. Everything moves over the place every time you try and select something new. Okay. This one. So this is a chip. As we zoom in, right, it's not regular. You know, these will be SRAM blocks that they're testing, and just different elements, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, aside from that, let me share this again. And we have the chip and the wafer. Yeah, no, and oh, they said the other thing that needs to change is the software. Software is not built to design chips for this.
No.
The EDA.
Yeah.
And in light of what EDA companies are doing with AI, I'm not sure whether that's going to be easier or harder than it was before. But Rahul asks, might be done asking this, but up until now, pMOS and CMOS were placed at the same level from the cooling. With a staggered approach, would there be a higher chance of failing for one over the other? In terms of thermals, yes. Stacking transistors isn't always a good thing from a thermals, and if you're also going to increase the density, that's bad too. They didn't tell us anything about the Vmin, the minimum voltage for these transistors. However, there is one image. I think I even put it in the in my article. All right, so this image at the bottom, at the top, says VDS of 650 millivolts, which is fine. That's just how they did that test. There is another one here where they have VT, which is threshold voltage, of about 350 millivolts. So if you can have your logic down at 350 millivolts, I bet it's very, very efficient. It probably won't be as fast, though, for switching speed. When asked about the thermals, IBM said essentially that any PDK that uses CFETs will have to have thermal, physical and thermal design as part of the PDK. As part of the
I wonder why Synopsys bought Ansys. I wonder why.
Well, no, because it implies that there aren't that many physical limits on current PDKs.
Mm-hmm.
But as we're moving into a chiplet or a stacked era, where we have transistors on top of each other, that needs to be front. IBM is saying that needs to be front and center of these documents going forward, because they're currently not. And also, if you're thinking, well, hang on, can't we do some sort of like fancy intra-chip cooling? Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There's a company that has a lot of patents on that they did in the early 2000s. Company with 3 letters, IBM.
Yeah. So, hey, it's funny because the amount of times that I've heard somebody go, wait, I thought IBM was just a consulting company.
Well, there are people that don't realize that IBM, their turnover last year was something like $68 billion.
Yeah.
So, they still make a lot of money. I mean, right now, I think a lot of focus is in consulting. A few questions online that I did get were, well, when is this going to be in IBM chips? And my response is, well, IBM right now uses Samsung. Right, so because IBM don't use global foundries. Well, Rapidus is likely going to be enabling their process for. I think it's more going to be focused on homegrown efforts, though they've told me that's like only 20% of what they want it to be used for. And also in terms of volume, I think their first fab or the first half that's up and running is something like 20,000 wafers starts per month, which is a fifth of one of TSMC's gigafabs. And TSMC has what, 11 gigafabs?
Yeah, but also IBM is not the largest customer in terms of wafer starts needed.
No, it will be one of those things that Rapidus will have to evolve into a state where they can be trusted to do a high performance process. However, IBM have said they're going to chiplets.
Yes.
And IBM used to be the chiplet masters in the day. Just
they were
very slow interfaces.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So I got this briefing. I want to say 16 hours before embargo.
Ouch. Those are always the roughest.
And the press got their briefing 24 hours before the analysts did.
Okay.
I still wrote 7,000 words, and my week has been wrecked as a result. And I still need to do a video on it as well. I plan to do a video. I need to do a video because the #1 video on my channel to date so far was IBM 2.
So now you have to do IBM 7A.
7A, or they've actually given it a marketing name, NanoStack, right? So
I'm gonna call it 7A because I think it's funny. And I think it's equally as confusing because we have A7, 7A.
It makes no difference. There are people on Twitter who are claiming to be domain matter experts, who are computer scientists and have YouTube channels of 2 million plus people. And yet they still don't bloody know that these numbers aren't physical dimensions.
It's a marketing term, folks.
It's just insane to me that these people, or they can be invited to Huawei to see some of their stuff and actually do no critical analysis whatsoever on anything they talk about.
Well, why do you think that they were invited?
Because they said in their video that this content is sponsored by Huawei. It's a pain in the ass where it's two sides of it. One, you've got people with large followings who don't understand what process names are. And two, you've got people who are really into the technology. I had to correct Lithos on Twitter because he assumed this was just standard sequential CFETs.
No.
And the thing is, I thought it was. for like 2.5 hours once I started reading into this, and it wasn't until until I understood that what they're doing is going into the Miller indices and crystal lattice part side of things that I realized actually no, and that's how they get away with not having to deal with bond pitches, because you're transferring over, for lack of a better term, dummy bulk silicon. Or you may have noticed in the image, in the SEM that they used, scanning electron microscopy, which is here, that it's actually different colored layers.
Yes.
That's because you build gate all around with layers of silicon germanium.
Ah, okay.
Alternating layers. And again, you grow those epitaxially, and you can grow them in a certain orientation. If you ever buy a wafer from a supplier, you typically buy it with a specific orientation.
Okay.
So you can buy 001 wafers or 110 wafers. And the idea is, if you build on that, you either get a better nMOS or a better pMOS, right? And yeah, puzzle-headed. Didn't Intel CEO complain about naming conventions, but wasn't Intel the one who started the whole shenanigan? Yes, but Pushkar wasn't in charge back then.
Yeah.
He's only just got the role of CTO.
Isn't that at Magic Silicon on Twitter?
At Magic Silicon, yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually I met him. I saw him at Computex. We were in the room where Intel was doing the Q&A, and I'm there texting him, waving at him, asking, and I said, "Don't leave. We need to, don't rush out. We need to take a selfie together." And apparently, he was ushered at speed after they were finished. They all were.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I had to leave because I had to go to a different thing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. But yeah, that's IBM. Good luck when you make your video, Max. We saw high yield in the comments. If you have any questions, let me know. I can fill in some gaps, some band gaps. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking that joke.
Oh. There was, I can't remember what video I was going to do, but it was about how band gaps evolve with nanoparticle size, and how you induce different band gap differentials in semiconductors. Oh, takes me back. So that's IBM. Let's talk about supercomputing.
Yeah, international supercomputing. The new top 500, which came as a surprise for at least one person there, me. We have a new #1 supercomputer. I have an article and now video about this on Chips and Cheese and the Chips and Cheese YouTube channel about the brand new #1 supercomputer, Lineshine, out of China. So funny little story. I had gotten the AMD press release because I wasn't pre-briefed on the top 500. I got the AMD pre-brief on in my email at like 2 a.m, and I'm like, and I saw it because
it's because it's Germany 2 a.m. It's not.
Yeah. And
it's US 5 p.m.s, so they're fine.
Yeah. No. But I see it at 2 a.m. and I scroll through. I'm like, oh, there's nothing interesting here. Put my phone down, go back to sleep, wake up properly, and I'm eating breakfast, and I reread the press release. I'm like, wait, what do you mean El Capitan's #2 now? What do you mean? And I'm like, okay, this either has to be China has decided to submit, or a hyperscaler has decided to just go big wang energy and just go computer, big computer. And so it ended up being China submitted. So
we kind of covered Lineshine before, but can you go over kind of what it is?
So Lineshine is, well, one, it is a all CPU supercomputer, which means that this is the first time in 4 years that the number one is an all CPU system. So that's neat. But it is a completely self-derived, like from hardware to software, completely derived system built in China, as far as we know. The one big question mark at the moment is who fabbed LX2, which is the CPU in here. I suspect it's SMIC, but I'm not positive. Regardless, they are very proud that this is a domestic system. And the LX2 CPU has 2 compute dies, each with 160 cores on die. 8 of them are disabled per die for a total of 304 active cores on the package. We don't know.
Be right back.
Okay, we don't know what the actual cores look like microarchitecturally for some of it. We know that it has a 32K L1D cache and L1I cache, but we don't know much else other than it has, I believe, 4 512-bit SV2 pipes, and a 512 by 512 SME unit, I think. Which means that a single core on LX2 does 256 kilobits of data processing, which is roughly double what of matrix processing, which is roughly double what a Blackwell B200 SM can do. So these are very, very beefy matrix units as far as we can tell. And so, yeah, a very beefy matrix that is backed by a fairly thin cache layer. Each die has 4 clusters, is backed by 28.5 megabytes of L2, giving a total of 114 megabytes of L2 on a die, and the full package has 228. And then after that, this is not a single NUMA domain like you would traditionally expect. This system has 8, technically 16, but not really, NUMA domains, and the 8 domains are for the 8 HBM stacks. So each cluster is essentially tied to an HBM stack, and that is how you get the best bandwidth out of that system. And then after that, because there's only 32 gigs of HBM on this single package, that is then supplemented with 256 gigs of LPDDR5, I believe. Let me double check. Yes, not LPDDR5, standard DDR5. So a total of 288 gigabytes of memory of DRAM on this system. The HBM, which I don't think is actually HBM, like what you would think of as HBM, is up to 4 terabytes per second. You and I talked about this on how it doesn't really line up with any of the known HBM stacks. So wait, Did I freeze?
You have frozen.
Okay. Could you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let me see if I can.
Is your Wi-Fi playing up?
Yeah, I mean it's running off my phone.
We can still hear you fine. You can keep going.
Okay. Yeah, so for me you're frozen. Hopefully the screen isn't frozen. But yeah, so like I was saying, I don't think it's running on a standard HBM. I think it's high bandwidth memory that has been developed in China. That wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, this is now the #1 supercomputer, and it's really interesting because this is the first time in nearly a decade that China has submitted.
A decade, really?
Yes, the last time they submitted was in 2017. Technically, there was some stuff in 2019, but
I was going to say
this was it.
It's they were going to submit one of the Gordon Bell systems. I remember at one point, but
they
pulled
did.
out last minute.
They did submit, but they lost, I believe.
They did what? Sorry.
I believe they did actually submit, but they didn't win.
No, I mean the system that they used was going to be submitted to the top 500, because I remember speaking to some of our mutual friends, and apparently Jack Dongara saw some Linpack numbers, and such. But again, this was not entirely sure the reason why this one is the one that gets submitted, because it's #1. But my point here is that these numbers are often seen by multiple people and not just taken to be accurate, right? They're not just assumed correct. They are actually analyzed and confirmed. It's we've got some interesting numbers up here. 13.7 million cores using the Lineshine interconnect, whatever that is.
So I suspect that it's a very we have Ultra Ethernet at home.
Okay, fair enough.
But I have figured out why I have frozen, and it's because I've used all of my mobile hotspot data for the month.
Oh, you're tethered.
So yeah, I'm going to connect to a different one real quick, so I may drop out momentarily.
It's all right. We can have a little gap. The reason why I had to leave is because I needed a beverage.
Well, it's a good thing that I didn't drop out before that. So
it's I've gone and got a I believe it's a South African cider, or the company's South African. The funny thing is, one of their key offices are just within a few miles of me, and yet it's really hard to buy it around here.
Oh, neat. Okay. So I think I'm back.
You are. The only way I can buy this is £6 a bottle with my Nando's takeaway.
Oh, jeez. £6.
Given that's roughly what you pay for something like a ricotta leg in a London pub,
yeah,
I paid like £7.50. But still, I can't buy. I can't buy like a 12-pack. I have to buy like 4 with my wings.
Yeah.
So it's going back to Lineshine system, 42.2 kilowatts.
Yes.
Power measurement level 1.
Yes.
I don't know what that means.
So that just tells you the granularity of the power measurement.
We
that
did
doesn't
one.
actually help.
We did one power
Yes.
measurement.
But
Though, to be honest, could it be way worse?
yes. Yes.
And
But,
interestingly, they're using
so-
Kylin.
Yes, they are, which is interesting.
For people who don't know, Kylin is essentially the Chinese government mandated version of Linux.
Does it use the Linux kernel? I don't remember.
Kylin, yeah.
Oh, it does.
It's called Kylin Linux, yeah. System
Okay.
developed by
Yes, it does.
academics
Okay.
at the National University of Defense Technology in the People's Republic of China since 2001.
Okay. So back to the LinPack performance. Real quick. It's actually getting about an 80% efficiency number from the R max to R peak, which is actually really good.
But we saw that with the systems that use CPU max, didn't we?
Yes. Also Fukaku, which was the prior #1 big CPU system out of Japan.
So it turns out you need super fast memory and lots of it. I think George is coming in patches now.
Yeah. Is not. Oh no. Apologies.
You might have to go back to the regular
this is
Wi-Fi.
also not what has been deemed a link. I hope not, because that's not the best.
Oh yeah, German internet. I should have known.
Yes. German internet is. I'm being German interneted at the moment, but so can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
It's okay.
So
it's okay.
This is not what I.
So go on.
Oh no, I was just going to say. So this is not what I would call a LinPack special, or what has been deemed a LinPack special, as in the HBCG number of 22 petaflops is actually really good. This has dethroned El Cap as the highest HBCG supercomputer. So this is not like Taihean 1, which was very much a really only good at top 500 LinPack runs, and not great at like other scientific things that are more IO bound.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the problems with the Chinese systems in general. But yeah, there was also a few other HPC top 500. What we have here, HPC 7.
Yes, HBC 7 out of ENI, which is an oil and gas company in Italy. This is essentially
They've got a few
a miniature.
on the list, haven't they?
Yes, they do. But I'll get back to that in just a second. This is essentially a miniaturized El Cap. So we kind of know what the system already looks like in terms of its performance and what it falls in line with that category. But what is interesting, and I highlighted it here, with this system, Italy now has the most compute of any country in Europe on the top 500, which is very interesting considering that Germany has the one exascale system in Europe at the moment.
So Germany has the individual peak, but Italy has the bulk.
They have the bulk of the compute. Germany still leads in terms of pure numbers of systems and the biggest system.
Okay. And then green 500, no real changes.
Yeah, so basically nothing in the top 10 changed, but the list did get more efficient just because of retirements of older systems. And in terms of efficiency, Lineshine is far from number one. It is number 50, but it does roughly line up with the DOE's exascale numbers from 2015, that the efficiency numbers that you would need for an exascale system.
Right.
And that slide specifically was very funny. That it is a win-win-win initiative because specifically point 3 is that this may actually spur the DOE into more funding for bigger supercomputers, which would be very funny, as if the Lineshine taking number 1 makes the DOE put more money into supercomputers.
Oh, does that mean more money into Jensen's pockets?
Well, considering that the DOE has been picking a lot of AMD supercomputers lately, I would say it's Lisa's pocket.
MI 430s.
Yes.
So that interesting, yes. Problematic, even more so, because these tender offers and deployments are 5-6 year cycles.
Yeah.
We know plenty of people who have to deal with this crap.
Yeah.
And they can't stand it.
Well, the thing is, I do kind of wish. I know that this has been criticized heavily, and rightfully so, to some degree. That move fast and break things in AI is problematic, but I do wish that supercomputing would move faster. It is kind of slow in that regard.
If supercomputing was corporate rather than academic, it would.
Yeah. But it's academic, which means that things have to be validated.
It has to be stable enough for people to achieve degrees and write research papers and all sorts of stuff. You can't build a chip in 9 months. Which is where our next topic is going.
Yeah.
Do we have the image of the OpenAI Jalapeño?
No.
1 second, it's coming. But yes.
Aurora in chat says the DOE should buy funnier supercomputers. Bring back lid-back specials for the funny.
So we did have a few questions. Let's go over those while the images come in. Our good friend from Twitter, X86 is dead and back, asks, have you analyzed the LX2's energy consumption?
It's 690 watts per LX CPU, or LX2 CPU.
So that's 2 chiplets.
Yes.
So what's that? 2 watts per core? 305
well, considering it's a package and the HBM is on package, yeah, that sounds about right.
It's only running at 1.5 gig, 1.55.
Yeah. So I was asked by somebody, what's the trade-off here? What trade-offs did they have to make for the LX2 CPU? And I suspect that unlike a Genoa system or a Turin system or a Granite Rapids space system, this is very much focused on HPC, which is fine for that, right? This is an HPC system. It will do HPC well, very likely. But in general purpose workloads, I kind of suspect A64FX, it would kind of fall on its face.
If you think in terms of Xeon Phi-esque stuff, those are 1.2 gigahertz P54C/Silvermont cores. with a massive wide vector engine attached, the AVX512. A64FX were lower frequency cores with massive 2048-bit engines attached, then attached to HBM or was it called MBC DRAM? Did you get some socks?
No, I got some very German sausages.
Very French.
Oh, French, apparently.
Yeah,
'Cause
saucisson.
I need a snack.
Yeah. Is it clear that China has achieved a historic milestone by securing 20% higher performance using only ARM CPUs on its own nodes? But isn't that 42 kilowatt figure higher, megawatt figure higher than El Capitan's? It's
So
are they 20% higher
the thing
performance
is,
per core? No.
so the per core is, I'll kind of leave that off to the side for right now. What I will say is, here's the thing that was talked about, and something that is changing with the next top 500 lists. The ISC group is handing off the top 500 list to ACM SIG HPC.
Not so
in terms of
PC.
the no. But the thing is that the large computers in both the US and China that are doing AI, such as Colossus 2, don't submit to the top 500.
No.
Right? So we don't really, this is not the list of the big computers on Earth, unfortunately.
In the world. I mean, there is one. It's called Eagle. Though we know that's not the full system.
No.
And I think Eagle is still like 5th or 6th.
I think it's 7th now.
Okay. Yeah. Have you asked the company directly if there's any other way to buy it? What, Lineshine? It'd be amusing.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Let's see. Okay, so yes, let's go over to this picture. The person on the left is Sam Altman. The person on the right.
Person on the right is Hawktan.
Hawktan runs a company called Broadcom.
Just a little company, you probably never heard of it.
Yeah, Broadcom, biggest company you've never heard of, and they are the design partner for a number of high-profile chips by companies who don't have their own design teams, or the companies do the high level, and Broadcom does all the back-end work of actually putting transistors into silicon, and then Broadcom contracts TSMC to go make it. And the beauty of this sort of relationship is you don't have to deal with your HBM supply. Broadcom does all that. You don't have to deal with your packaging supply. Broadcom does all that. And Broadcom can amortize it over 20, 30, 40 different customers, right? The thing is, Broadcom is quite expensive compared to, say, Marvell or Alchip or GUC or MediaTek or AMD. But for that, you get a history of successful tape-outs in time. Now, this is a chip that they've called Jalapeño, and not jalapeno or jalapeno.
No,
as it keeps
jalapeno.
being seen online. Really annoying me. It's oh great, you're English. You've never heard of letters with accents on them, with diacritics on them. Great. Stand out your sphere for one bloody second. And another thing, an investor told me, "Oh, this looks like a Cerebrus chip. It's about that big."
No.
And I had to point out, there's the bloody chip, mate. How do you not know this stuff? And he's like, "Oh, I don't know what they look like in real life. I just trade on them." Yep, George is dead. Welcome to the land of finance.
Paid.
If anybody wants to write that little N with the little tilde on the top, make sure numlock is on, hold your left alt, and on the number pad type 0241.
Are you sure you want your access?
So let's have a poll in chat. Can you type Enya? The letter. Type one in chat for yes. Type 2 for what? Unfortunately, I can't get you to type the Enya in chat. It doesn't allow me that that privilege. But yes, so this is the chip, and we can already tell a few things about it because we got absolutely zero information from OpenAI about this.
Shocking.
One, it's built on TSMC because that's pretty much a given. Two, it looks like a singular compute die in the middle. Three, there are 6 HBMs. And you're thinking, hang on, there looks like 4 on one side and 3 on the other, so surely there's 8. And the answer is no. If you actually look, the bonding of the top one is different to the other 3. And this usually indicates that the bottom 3 are HBMs. And the top one, well, here's an interesting thing. You'll notice that there's also a top middle chip, as well as a top left chip, and we assume a top right chip. The top middle is going to be I/O. That's usually a given. The top corners can either be silicon spacers, literally for rigidity reasons, and this is literally the most basic stuff, or they could be some sort of management system or mild CPUs that connect through the I/O. Unfortunately, we don't know either. The packaging looks like CoWoS.
Yeah. What's funny is just looking at that image, independent of seeing Hawktan on the right, I can tell you that that's a Broadcom package because of the how thick that metal ring is. That is classic Broadcom packaging.
To be honest, most of them are like that these days, though. Dom, do we have a higher resolution image of the original by any chance? Because I don't want to be annoying, but in the middle at the bottom there, on the ring stiffener, looks like 4 digits, right? And normally when we see 4 digits on a processor, that's usually a date code. The first 2 being the year, the second 2 being the week. And if I'm not blind, it looks like that's either a 1-7 or a 4-7.
For the first 2 digits?
So week 17 of 2026 was April 20th. If it's week 47, then it's 2025.
Yeah.
And no, because it would be 26.
There's only 52 weeks.
Anyway, everybody can type Enya in chat. That's great. So yeah, it's a common question has been, so the fact that OpenAI are making their own chip, what does that mean? But 1, how, and 2, what does that mean? I'll address the how. How, you work with a partner that has experience in building lots and lots of high-performance chips. You use silicon-proven IP for things like your I/O and your bonding, and you don't use an aggressive performance node. 2, you take as much reuse and off the shelf you can,
No.
right? On top of that. And 3, you overpay out the nose. You overpay for TSMC manufacturing priority. You overpay for packaging priority and volume. And then you overpay for tape out and bring up. Right?
Well, what's funny is like so they said that they did this in 9 months. Okay, what does that 9 months actually mean? Does that mean from
blank sheet of paper?
Oh, so they said that from blank sheet of paper.
Effectively, yeah. And the thing is, you go, okay, well, what PCI should I use? Well, okay, let's just buy Cadence or Broadcom PCI 6 IP. Great, it's silicon proven, done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that sort of thing.
But also, if you think about it, AMD, Nvidia, Intel, Qualcomm, all these companies that are making CPUs specifically, they are general purpose systems that are designed for you, me, average person, or even chips doesn't necessarily know what their customer is going to run on them, right? So they have to validate for everything, and they have to minimize bugs and all this stuff as much as possible. OpenAI doesn't have to do that.
Well, I mean,
OpenAI knows exactly have full control over it from tip to tail.
I mean, that's technically true even for hyperscalers building in-house chips and Google for TPUs, right? That I think isn't necessarily important. I mean, if you know your workload, that's fine. They did make a big point in saying that they used a lot of AI in the chip design. And people are saying, what, you use codecs? You use codecs? And it's like, codecs is an LLM. It's not a chip design model.
Yes.
It's like, dear God, right? Am I going to make... Now, could codecs write Verilog? Maybe. You still have to do the physical design.
Yes.
Right? You still have to then do the validation and everything else. And the other question is, well, what does this mean for all of OpenAI's other deals, right? Because they've got a deal with Cerebrus. They've got lots of AMD hardware access to. They've got lots of NVIDIA hardware access to. Is this going to replace everything? And the answer is no. It's more about different sorts of workloads.
Yes.
It's all about the different. I think it was Sally Ward Fox News said this was, this is just an opportunity to run all sorts of different things that's going on inside OpenAI, right? And this is a big enough workload that they want a custom chip for it. Are they still going to run tons of GPUs? Yeah.
Yes.
Are they still going to run tons of Cerebrus wafers? Yeah. Are they still going to be able to pay all their bills?
Yes. Well, if they can't, Microsoft probably will. Let me put it that way. Because functionally, what I think OpenAI functionally is at this point is just Microsoft's R&D for frontier development models.
Yeah,
but that's sort of secondary to this, right?
Yeah. Well, it's OpenAI is one of the few companies that actually wants to build frontier models. Still has the capability to, right? Not every
Meta sure don't.
Sorry?
Because Meta sure doesn't. Not anymore.
Well, have they stopped Llama development?
No, they're still continuing Llama development, but they haven't released anything since Llama 4, and Llama 4 was not good. So
no.
Well, technically they have the Spark thing, but Muse Spark is not great either.
Yeah, it's people are looking more to Qwen and even to DeepSeek and now GPT-OSS as well. But yeah, so that's Jalapeño. Did we miss anything out of that?
I don't think so, not really. At least not in the OpenAI news brief.
Yeah. So we have some interesting news, and that I went on stage.
Fun.
Now, for those of you who don't know who the guy on the right is, that is the person in charge of the most valuable company in Europe.
ASML.
That is the CEO of ASML. A guy called...
Now, I have a question for you, Ian. Who's the guy on the left?
The guy on the left is me.
So do you spell your name with 1 T or 2 T's?
Let's see if I can get this to work. Oh, kind of like that. They eventually did fix my name in all the post-processing everything. So yeah, this video is currently online. They got me to host a fireside chat with the CEO of ASML. And it started with me doing a little chat about the importance of startups and having good ideas and all the stuff that usually comes out. I do drone on and on a little bit. And then Christoph comes out and he does a little thing about the importance of EU and red hair because of the lights. And then we spend the best part of 50 minutes chatting, again, asking him questions about... So the thing is, this wasn't an interview in the traditional sense, right?
No.
I was invited to be the host of a fireside chat at a conference for European technology startups and investors. And they had Christoph to be on the stage, and they needed somebody to come on, give some preamble and answer questions, ask questions to Christoph, and kind of like provide a narrative, right? And then the narrative was about how big companies work with small companies, how the supply chain works, how ASML's story, how that has evolved, what it means for smaller companies looking to invest, and all that jazz. And I'll dump a link. I'll dump this link.
By the way, Ian,
into the chat.
Is that a legitimate, like, fake volcano?
A legitimate fake volcano?
Yes.
It's just the background. I didn't even know what we were walking onto the set because we had no real prep before this. However,
Fair.
So we go on, 45 minutes in. Is me looking at my notes, making sure I got the right time, and then at the end, let's see if I can get the right part. Yeah. So this is me.
Calm down.
Saying, I haven't told the ASML people I'm going to do this, but I've got a gift for you. It is a pair of high-NA EUV socks.
Nice.
This is one of the first pairs out of new TechTechPotato merch. And on them is a cartoonized version of an EUV machine with people in bunny suits And yeah, that was. I started this presentation by saying, just so everybody's aware, I'm an ASML fanboy. But it was fun. I had a lot of people reaching out to me after this. There was a company doing who spoke to me that they're doing something about making finer lines be printed, basically giving you a full process node leap in performance with your transistor technology. They're out of Scandinavia somewhere.
I was going to say applied materials, but no, they're not out of Scandinavia.
No. So you may have heard of Sculptor by Applied Materials.
Yes,
it's a similar sort of thing, but yeah, reduces the need for quad patterning and everything else. And if I can see it on my store, we have EUV socks. So this is what I gave them.
Something cheaper than 150 million.
Yeah. So yeah, so this is what they look like when you put them on. You can tell which one the left sock is. No. You can tell which one the left sock is because it's got a TechTechPotato on it. And there may be some Italian plumber themed elements on the socks.
Just a little.
You know, it's sort of like a 3D isomeric view. So yeah, I thought this was fun. And I gave them and here's the same thing in a pillow. And I gave this notebook to somebody. This analog email assistant who forgot to take it home.
Yes, you did. Yes, I did.
I gave George some merch and he left it in Taiwan.
Yes, I did. We were rushing at that point in time, to be fair.
Yeah, you had a train to catch.
Yes, I did.
So if anybody wants EUV socks, you know, again, shameless plug. There's a link. But I felt that was.
Do you want to talk about Qualcomm?
I still need to go over Qualcomm.
Okay, because I have a couple opinions on the Qualcomm.
Okay, let's speak about Qualcomm then.
Okay.
So
let me grab a drink real quick. So 1 sec.
Okay. I guess one thing we could say is, we have some more pictures. Excuse me. Of me and Christoph on the stage. So it's kind of fun. Yeah, it's that kind of invite came out of the blue. They pinged me about a month in advance. And there was a couple of extra stages involved, but I got to meet a lot of the ASML team, and they said, "Why haven't you come visited us?" And I said, "Invite me."
Like formally invite you?
Yes. And so I have an open invite to Veldhoven, and it turns out, and I've actually known this for a while, to be honest. One of the people I co-authored a paper with during my PhD works at ASML in Veldhoven. And I haven't seen her since 2010.
Yeah, and you co-authored a paper with her.
Yeah, back during my PhD. We were chemists, and ASML hires a lot of chemists, right? So
I wonder why.
But yeah, it turns out a number of the senior leadership team know who I am. And I said, well, why don't you speak to me more? And they went, well, we don't speak to you. I'm like, I get
Well,
like an
yeah,
email a
that's
year.
why I'm asking.
But between the US PR and the AR and the EU PR, it's I don't know.
You got
ASML
lost in the.
comes across as a very conservative company. Last time I had a proper interaction with ASML, they did this was like 3 or 4 years ago. I'm sure I've told this story before. They had an announcement and said, if you've got any questions, let us know. And so I came back with a bunch of technical questions. They came back to me. Answers were from what sounded like a research professor, whose answers were essentially go look in the literature.
That.
We lost George again.
Oh, did you? Wait, did you? You're fine on my end. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I think yeah, but no, that's not an answer. That's not.
And so I went off saying, you do realize I'm not a student. I am somebody from the press who may or may not be, who is clearly not as knowledgeable as you. I am not one of your students. Your press team have asked the press if they have any questions. And the idea is that our time is limited. If you want to answer them, answer them. If you don't want to answer them, don't fob me off.
Yeah.
Right? Or don't treat me like one of your first-year undergrads or first-year postgrads who's doing research.
Honestly, you shouldn't even treat a postgrad like that. Like
it was just a series of bad answers that just instantly came across as I don't understand this interaction, or I think this interaction is somebody else, or I'm busy.
To quote casually in the chat, academics, and I mean that as in sometimes they just don't get that somebody's not at their level.
Or it's academia versus commercial. A lot of academics don't understand the commercial side of anything. So, yeah, and I have a feeling the PR didn't forward my email. However, they never reached out to me again. So, yeah. Let's talk about Qualcomm, because Qualcomm this week had an investor day. And this was the follow-up to Computex, where they announced their data center brand, but didn't really say anything, and said, if you want to find out more, come to Investor Day. And I say annoyingly, I should have been invited, but I have a feeling that if I went, I would have missed out on IBM and a lot of other things, like I say, that were going on. So Investor Day was, what, 3 hours of stuff?
I think so. I was more dealing with, ISC and stuff.
Well, exactly. If you're at ISC, you're not paying attention to IBM. If you're dealing with IBM, you're not paying attention to Qualcomm, that sort of thing. But at this day, obviously, it's for investors, so it's very forward-looking. It's all talking about successes. So,
and it looks like Patrick, our good friend Patrick, was invited. So,
yeah. So Patrick was there. Okay, yeah. But they spoke about their collaborations with Hugging Face running on Qualcomm hardware, Hugging Face models running on Qualcomm hardware. They spoke about automotive design wins. Apparently, Stellantis is now using Snapdragon digital chassis. They've got their new Dragonwing for robotics platform. They also announced the acquisition of Modular, which is the company that Chris Latner runs.
Yes.
And so that's a substantial acquisition. Because
I'll be honest, I don't know how I feel about this.
I know exactly why you're saying what you're saying. It's because you and I know Chris Latner is one of these ninja compiler people who can do whatever they want. And when somebody like Jim Keller says there's only 19 people I trust to write vector code in the world, the sort of people he's talking about are of the skill level of Chris. Then turn around and then work under the banner of Qualcomm, a historically very conservative, with a mixture of success and failure in the data center. You do have, that's why you're feeling the way you're feeling. You trust Chris, you're not sure if you can trust Qualcomm.
Yeah, so I will say that there was a public recommittance to the release of the Max, I think it's the Max compiler or Mojo compiler. I don't know what, I don't quite remember which one is technically which. I know one is the language and one is the front end, but they did publicly recommit to a submitting of the compiler to open source, but
so did you go into any of this, whether Modular were going to stay semi-independent or whether they'll be like merged in?
I don't know. It sounded like they'll be kept kind of semi-independent, but I sort of suspect that my all of the press releases have implied that it will be kept sort of semi-independent, but my gut says that they'll be integrated in sort of.
Yeah.
The original goal of Modular will not come to fruition. Let me put it to you that way.
That kind of sounds like Nuvia.
Yeah.
That being said, what's being announced today is what you could call the end goal of Nuvia back in the day.
Yes, which is very funny.
And so what's been let's go straight into what they've announced. This is Patrick's looking smart. I was gonna say that's the guy from Qualcomm I know. That guy looks like Bernie Ecclestone.
For a microsecond, I was like, wait, is that on the left? I was like, is that who I think it is? Because I'm all the way here. I'm like, is that the colors look almost like a certain person?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Going through some of the messages about scale and execution, and now let's talk data center, agentic AI. It's important. You have all these different sort of workloads, prefill, CPU, training, decode, HBM, copper cable. And this is this is their major roadmap.
Yeah.
Right. So what they're talking about here. So their whole data center brand is going to be called Dragonfly. They announced that at Computex, and they're going to come to market with rack scale systems. The thing is, Qualcomm has neither a large scale data center CPU or a large scale data center AI accelerator. They have AI 100, AI 200, but that's PCIe.
Well, they have AI 100 now. That's released now, but it's also 7 years old at this point. And they said sampling of 200 is technically happening now.
But even still, right? There's a and the whole point is here. So here, Qualcomm's talking in terms of fiscal years, because they're speaking to investors. So they are a connectivity company, but mostly in the RF base. But they are looking to scale into optical and electrical DSPs. Then come next year, they're going to start having their custom silicon. So they are going to be a competitor to Marvell and Broadcom. and Alchip, because from their perspective, they know how to build. They have lots of IP. They acquired AlphaWave, who have lots of SerDes
that's
IP.
who the connectivity is, I believe. Is AlphaWave.
And so that's where it says in your industry proven 224 gig SerDes manufacturing services. Then they're going to come up with an AI accelerator second half of next year, and then the CPU the second half of the year after. So that's 2 years till the CPU. Okay.
So a couple things on that. That means that really it's facing Zen 7. Like Zen 7 and Coral Rapids, not what is going to be coming out later this year and into next, right? And this also means that they probably haven't taped this out yet.
No, we're still a long way away from tape out.
Well, you say that, but consider that we saw a wafer, a notional wafer, with Turin on it back in what? February of 25?
You mean Venice? Okay.
Of Venice, excuse me. Of like February, March of 2025?
So but that's also because it was on a new gate-all-around process.
Yes, but my point is that it's tape out.
Will there be test chips? Maybe.
That's not what I'm saying. Is that it's. I don't even know if it's like all of the design has necessarily been even finalized yet, per se. Like I think most of it has been done, but for H228, they still have a long time to go.
Yes.
And a lot can go wrong in that time.
Yes.
So my point is that I'm surprised that they are putting a number on there. Like they're saying H226 or 28, excuse me. That is what I'm saying. I'm surprised that they're putting such a hard number there.
Yes, this far out as well. Yes.
Yeah.
But here, okay, so they're saying, well, this is what the industry needs, and we've got a memory wall. But they're saying performance is constrained by memory as models get larger. AI inference is limited by memory capacity and memory bandwidth. Yes, okay, that's state the obvious. One of the biggest innovations, high bandwidth compute, HBC. So instead of high performance compute, high bandwidth compute. They're trying to define a term now.
Yeah. Well, so
I mean, we'll get into the technology. We get into the technology in a second. I'm just not sure. That's just a new name.
To me, that's the Honey Badger Coalition, HBC.
It's I don't know.
If you know, you know.
So instead of HBM, they're saying Qualcomm is saying that it will do stacked DRAM. So stacked LPDDR on top of compute. Now, how many companies have we seen announce this?
Yes. I mean, I think there's a Hotchips presentation from 2022 about a stacked compute or DRAM stacked on top of compute from Samsung.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of companies talking about silicon, we've seen D-Matrix. We've seen Preferred Networks. We saw a presentation from Grok, technically, last year. Or
Don't you mean NVIDIA?
Yeah, NVIDIA now.
Yeah.
But, you know, and the foundries have been talking about it for a while.
Yes.
Right? So it's great if you can do it, but it's still a technology to be confirmed as viable, right?
I wouldn't say confirmed as viable, but confirmed as high production viable.
So this is what they're talking about. Qualcomm high bandwidth compute technology. Breaking the memory wall by putting your LPDDR, in this case it looks close, not on top of,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so to talk about this a little bit more, so if you go back up to that previous slide where they're showing,
Yeah.
I think this render, I hesitate to say it's BS, but I think this is not actually what it's going to look like.
No.
If it's what I think it is.
If it's LPDDR on top of compute, these two things need to be on top of each other. Otherwise, that just looks like Lunar Lake.
Well,
Or Snapdragon X2 Elite
thing,
Extreme.
The only thing that I could think of to square this circle, so to speak, is that SoC is an Orion SoC, and then that HBC stack has hexagons on the bottom with DRAM stacked on top.
But then that's the AI accelerator. This is a CPU.
Yes, but I'm thinking that this is them trying to pull a pseudo GH200. Like GH200 at home.
But I think there would be a line saying compute underneath, if that's the case.
So there's a different slide. There's a different slide. I don't have a high resolution. Yes, that one. Thank you.
Okay, this makes more sense.
Yes. So I'm thinking. So what's weird is that they say 2D organic substrate for that lowest layer, but on top of that, that looks like an interposer, doesn't it, Ian?
It is an HBC accelerator. Is that accelerating the B or the C?
I don't know.
I'm serious.
No. I believe you. It's not a ridiculous question because I posted this on Twitter. If you want to pull up my personal Twitter, I tweeted about this. I basically retweeted Insane Analyst, and I was like, I really wonder what this HBC is. And Ben Bajarin responded that they got some clarification on what it is. Let me see if I can pull it up here. If my phone, if being German interneted, come on.
I'm being clawed.
I'm connected to the local Wi-Fi, but
it's if you're running OpenClaw, this is my version.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So Ben Bajarin quote said, and I quote, "We asked and got some clarity. The base compute tile is flexible. It can support all sorts of logic. So while I assume it's NPU, they're saying that they are engaged in customizing this for the customer based on their goals, wants, needs, etc. So the answer was base logic can be a range of things and will be a tile/chiplet base before too long." And then Ryan Shrout added to that as, "I'm reading it as, quotes, memory controller with some variable level of compute, close quote. I am sure that they have defined what is needed for specific common workloads already, but being cagey."
So as Puzzleheaded in the chat says, isn't that similar to a HBM logic layer? Yes, it could be.
Yes. That my suspicion is that this is some sort of LPDDR variant of SPHBM4, which is standard package HBM4, which reduces pin count.
No. The thing is, could this be some form of processing in memory?
Maybe.
Because that answer is about as generic as you like. Which is crazy. Absolutely crazy.
But
and this is the argument: 2,000 capacity per watt versus SRAM.
This made me want to literally just smash my head against the wall.
How about NAND? 10,000 times capacity versus per watt versus SRAM, not 10 million. It's such a stupid, arbitrary thing to.
And then, so there was a slide that talked more about Oryon, the CPU, and they said over 5 gigahertz and more than 256 core or more than 250 cores.
So here's Modular, here's Mojo. They save the CPU to the end, so let's keep going through this.
Okay,
before we get to
fair.
Yeah, and they're saying, well, if you use LPDDR, you don't need HBM. If you use NAND, you don't need LPDDR. There are trade-offs to this, guys.
You don't need NAND.
With monkeys, you don't need compute.
No. Go back to when computers meant people.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So this is their yearly. This is their roadmap for data centers rack scale. In 26, they'll have the AI 200 with LPDDR5X. Then they'll.
They're saying sampling, so.
Yeah. In 27, they'll have the AI 250 with HBC Gen 1. So it's not the accelerator. It's just a memory accelerator. Or it's just that memory stack.
Yeah. Yeah.
HBC is just this. Oh, you can't see my... There, it's just this.
Yeah.
Ignore this bit.
But the thing is,
HBC is just stacked LPDDR.
Maybe.
That's it. And then in fiscal year 28, we have HBC Gen 2 with the AI 300 with UA Link and Broadcom's eSun. And that's where they have copper and optical scale out. So then we get into software. Then we talk about modular stack on versus NVIDIA's. And then cores to lead data center. And they say that the CPU addressable market by fiscal 29 will be $200 billion. So, and Mark Zuckerberg is saying that Meta has entered a multi-generational agreement to use Qualcomm's processors.
This was very funny because what does that mean for ARM?
Well, these are ARM CPUs. And again, it's just the same reason that OpenAI has a new AI accelerator. Optionality.
I guess.
And then here's the CPU. And do we have
the same image that we just saw?
Yeah, we don't have the slide for just the CPU in the back end. No, can yeah, okay. And here are the important numbers. Oryon cores, which I guess will be V5 at that point. Oryon V5.
So we're on V3. I would presume either V or V5.
250 cores plus with chiplets.
Yeah, which 256 in my opinion.
Or you could end up with just variable based on chiplet if they decide to do a non-standard number of cores per chiplet. Greater than 5 gigahertz. What was the current high-speed record for an ARM core?
5 gigahertz.
What? How much?
It's Qualcomm. It's the X2. It's the X2 Elite Extreme.
It does how much?
5.
5. Okay. Greater than 2 terabytes per second of leading-edge PCIe Gen 7 and CXL. memory subsystem built for superior bandwidth,
Mhm.
capacity, latency, and efficiency using leading LPDDR technology. Why can't they say HBC there? Because at the bottom,
Well, if you read 2 down, yeah, they say optional HBC attach.
so it has LPDDR memory controllers and HBC attach.
So is this going to be like Xeon Max, where you have HBC and then a lower level of?
Yes.
Okay.
How is that connected? Anybody want to
Who
bet
knows?
CXL?
Mystery meat.
Mystery meat.
What's funny? What's funny is I was talking with.
You've been in Germany too long. If you want the mystery meat.
Yeah. No. But I was talking with somebody who is like, CXL is a security nightmare. It is an utter security nightmare. So I wonder how they're going to deal with that.
It's let me share my screen again because I clicked on the wrong thing. Qualcomm says it's positioned to provide value with custom silicon with a $115 billion addressable market. So they will also go build you your chip if you want. So here in the corner,
what Qualcomm does.
yes. And here in the corner, they have a picture of what looks like an Intel 1156 bottom of a CPU with chips on top of the bottom.
Qualcomm confirmed building Intel's next chips. What?
It's just, yeah, well, you know, one of those. Does that look familiar?
Yeah.
Well, that's a 2500K. This is a 4700K. Where have I put my latest ones? I don't know. And here is a floppy disk
Yes.
with SimTower
Yep.
on it. Yeah, so
Chat GPT, design me a chip. Design me a CPU. Make no mistakes.
yeah. But if this means that they're going to have a full custom silicon division,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, as Patrick points out, this is one of the reasons for the alpha wave.
Well, so there were rumors that Qualcomm bid. I don't know how legit these are. That Qualcomm bid for the console, the console maker, Sony and Microsoft, for their console chip.
Really?
I wonder if they're going to do that again. You try to make the case.
The thing is that business is lumpy.
Yes.
You just have to look at AMD's financials to showcase that, when you're in year 5 of a cycle, it kind of looks bad.
Yeah.
Hey, Aurora, you say Adreno console. What happens if you rearrange the letters in Adreno?
You get Radeon.
You get Radeon. So,
although if you tell Qualcomm that, they will deny that to high heaven.
Well, the lead GPU architect just went to go work for Intel.
Yep.
So, and apparently Litboo's on the lookout for a new lead CPU architect as well.
Wait, did Stephen Robinson leave?
No.
Then why wouldn't?
Did anybody in GPU leave to go hire Greg?
No, but like
You can't have too many
to me,
fellows,
Stefan,
apparently.
I guess it's just I would have assumed that Stephen Robinson had that position.
It's one of the opinions might be, well, hang on, you were here during the years where Intel wasn't competitive, therefore you may not be the best solution. To which his response is, well, you do realize I didn't make most of those decisions because I wasn't a fellow back then. To which the answer is, doesn't matter. So, yeah, hyperscaler needs, they all to do with differentiated technology. So all this data center stuff will come under Dragonfly. And here's the connectivity roadmap. Qualcomm are going to come out with their own 800 gig modules and 1.6 terabit modules and active electrical cables.
Mm-hmm.
So they really want to be a data center company. And there's Humane, who we think are one of the customers in custom silicon.
That wouldn't surprise me.
And then Adreno with Dragonwing. So taking the new Dragonwing IQ series and putting it in the Arduino system. So,
yep.
So you can now bring AI to your Arduino for IoT.
AI.
So, yep. And then, yeah, some more financial numbers. IoT is likely to be a high growth area for Qualcomm. I do not think the Qualcomm Dragonfly is going to be targeted at enterprises. This feels like Qualcomm feels like they're focusing on a few large customers, as in this is not the Centric 2400.
Go check the Chips and Cheese article on the Centric 2400. Shill. No, but I mean, I would argue that the Centric 2400 took the same approach.
One of these?
Yes. If I was home, I would show mine off as well.
Is this the 24? Yeah, it is the 24.
Yes.
I never did get 23. Was it 23 or did they do a 25?
There is no 23. There's the 24 and 3600, but the 3600, as far as I'm aware, is only was only ever like mechanical samples.
Okay. Kind of like Pentium 5.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yep, that's Qualcomm in a nutshell. We also had the Steam Machine launch this week. Did you see any of that?
Vaguely, I saw the price was ridiculously high, but I guess not actually that high because of the memory shortage and NAND pricing and all that. But I didn't really dive into it.
So AMD mobile chip 2+4 CPU cores. Yes. I can't remember how many compute units. Yeah, and the base model is
there's the RX 7600M. There's a DGPU. It's not just
yeah. 1,050 bucks.
Yeah.
And Jay, let's address this. What about the whole Qualcomm buying Tenstorrent thing? Rumor somebody pulled out somebody's butt. They literally just bought Ventana Micro.
The thing is, right? If you had told me a week ago that Qualcomm was buying Tenstorrent, I would go, well, no. But with the modular acquisition, it's more feasible.
No.
I'm not saying that it's happening. I'm saying that it's more feasible from a possibility standpoint.
Qualcomm doesn't need a RISC-V CPU.
I'm not saying that they need a RISC-V CPU.
They don't need a 10-6 accelerator core.
I'm saying that I don't quite know what the AI Cloud 200 and 300 or 250 and 300 look like. But what I do know for sure, 100%, is that Hexagon right now is not a 64-bit architecture internally. It could do 64-bit DMA, but it's still 32-bit pointers in 2026. So what I am saying is that they may need more
It's
to
AI, you don't
onboard
need
more
64-bit.
members. Yes, you do. For pointers, yes, you do. You need 64-bit. What are you talking about?
No, because
This is not 1994, Ian.
No. It's because everything only needs 100 million parameters.
Yes, please go tell that to OpenAI. Here's your maximum 100 million parameters. That's all you get now.
So, right, okay. Even on that front, Jim's not the sort of person that would want to be bought by Qualcomm. I don't think Qualcomm would pay the multiple that Jim would want anyway. The architectures that Tenstorrent are building, the IP business that they're building, I don't think fits with Qualcomm's model at all.
I didn't think it fit with. I didn't think the AlphaWave acquisition fit in Qualcomm's business model. So that's what I mean. Is with the acquisition of Modular and the announcements of a semi-custom division, it makes more sense than it did 48 hours ago. Is all I'm saying.
You're saying Tenstorrent essentially becomes the custom division?
A branch of the custom division, yes.
A $20 billion?
Look at Grok. Like, I don't think that Grok was worth that much money.
No, I'm still of the opinion that Grok was acquired because if they didn't, the whole AI market was going to fall out when they crashed.
Possibly, which would be worth $20 billion.
Yes, it would be compared to the multi-trillion crash. Yes.
Yeah, but I think it is possible. I'm not saying that it wasn't pulled out of somebody's back end. I'm just saying that it again.
When I say it's pulled out of somebody's back end, I meant packaging. It's so it's 4 gigabit should be enough for any AI. It's
let's solve the DRAM crisis. You don't need any DRAM anymore.
Yeah. There are a few other small news stories. Apparently, a peer-reviewed critique of Majorana 1 claims Microsoft did not demonstrate a working qubit.
I mean,
we kind of said that.
Yeah. Basically, that they didn't actually show what they said that they showed.
Yeah, and I can't read it because of The Verge. And the thing is, they also announced Majorana 2 a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
What's funny was there were a whole bunch of quantum computer folks here at ISE.
Mm-hmm.
And
so that's because supercomputing always introduced quantum because they felt that there wasn't enough for the HBC crowd there. And so it's always been about 20% quantum anyway.
This was like 40% quantum.
So somebody did tell me that there was no carpet in the hall this year.
No, there wasn't.
And only a few times did they ever see the ISC logo.
Yeah. Funny story. There
That feels like a conference that's dying. Sorry.
Well, funny story. They pulled out the some of the signage, and it had 39 CCC on it, which is a different conference.
Right.
And they didn't change it.
They did.
Oh, they did eventually.
You know, they did before Monday.
Oh, okay.
It was
Okay.
those signs hadn't been used before.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I thought I remember seeing it beforehand.
We have to show this.
No. Oh God, no.
Oh no.
So for those of you who don't know, Ed Zitron is a commentator on technology who technically runs a PR firm. Make of that what you will. For some reason, whenever he's mentioned in stuff, he gets 250,000 views, and I hadn't heard of him until 6 months ago. And he's very downbeat on machine learning. And it's because of crap like this. SoftBank had an investor day as well. SoftBank, who owns ARM, who owns GraphCore, who owns Revos. No, not Revos, Ampere, sorry. They also
Ampere, ARM, GraphCore, yeah. Yep, we work. We work.
And basically, these slides are, how valuable is the goose that lays golden eggs?
The goose was not valued. Eggs, the goose, oh my God.
These are real slides.
Yes, they are.
Presented to
Goose
investors.
value 0.
This
Flooby in the chat says it's very encouraging for 90-year-old investors in Japan.
it's. I remember having a conversation a while back saying that from a guy. He said his company, SoftBank, wanted to work with them on the provision that they got acquired.
What?
Which apparently is Massa's way.
That's about. Oh my God. Oh God. What are we doing here?
This.
What are we doing here?
This doesn't make sense either as neurospicy or neurotypical.
This doesn't make sense. I almost. Oh my God. Like. One quadra. What? Actually, there's a really funny slide at the bottom. When you eventually get to it. Brain computer.
No, I'm just trying to figure out all the
there it is.
AI.
The one slightly above it. Yeah, realizing ASI is his 60-year life plan.
Yeah. Oh, he had that one near the top as well.
No. The one near the top didn't have the realizing ASI. Is AI a bubble? Question mark.
No, because you just told me it's a freaking goose.
Oh God.
In other, I'll take that off the screen because I can't control George.
It's too funny. It's
one of the Hotchips, one of the keynotes of Hotchips has been announced.
Oh, has it?
Waymo.
I think. Oh, interesting. So they're giving a keynote and a presentation.
The challenges of autonomous driving, compute in motion.
Okay, interesting.
So one's going to be about the chip, and the other one's going to be about the business,
Okay.
or the supply chain, or something else.
Mm.
Amazon announced Graviton 5, or well, rather than announce it, we actually got a picture of the chip.
Yeah.
Can we put the chip in the back end, please? Yeah, 1 second. Because about back when they announced it, CES last year, they put up the pictures of Graviton 4,
Mm-hmm.
and I was telling some of the other analysts, you do realize that's still Graviton 4? And they're like, no, Amazon says this is Graviton 5. And like, it's definitely not. And now they've actually shown this picture off. I'm not sure if you've seen this, George.
Yes, I have. Wait. Yes, no, I have seen that.
So 4 compute die, and the reason why the stiffener is so big is because that's likely hiding some of the I/O chiplets.
Mm.
The date code on it on the right hand side says 2025-34, so week 34
of 2025. Okay.
However, George, the question is, what's the packaging on this?
So the interesting thing there is we know that Amazon has used EMIB before. So I wonder if this is using EMIB for the two dies right next to each other.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, and then
it doesn't have the telltale CoWoS edges.
No.
CoWoS-L. So this.
Yeah.
I just sliced my finger on the cardboard box I've got here with the G3 in it. God damn it.
Nice.
But yeah, it looks like EMIB.
Mm-hmm.
This is also A0. It says at the bottom for anybody keeping track. PCIe Gen 6, DDR5, 8800. The die-to-die interface is 420 gig per second.
Yep.
That's probably two 210s.
So yeah, that seems reasonable.
192 cores, 192 megs of L3 cache, and it's using Neoverse v3.
Mm-hmm. All fairly standard.
Yep. And that's kind of it for the day. It's been a busy week.
Yes, it has. It's been a busy week, but also
when do you fly home?
Sunday morning.
It's I've got an invite to be at the New York Stock Exchange in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
But the very next day I have to be in the Louvre in Paris.
Ooh.
For Rays.
Ooh.
So I may be doing a red eye.
Youch. Youch. And then wait, hold on. If you're going to the New York Stock Exchange in a couple weeks, and then you're going to the Louvre the day after, that's not
then
far
Rome.
off of then Rome.
Basically, I'm a travel influencer right now.
Oh, so you're like Dylan, who calls himself homeless.
New York, Paris, Rome, Shanghai, London.
Well, aren't you going to San Francisco sometime in June, around June 22nd or July 22nd?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, oof.
No, I am not doing a travel vlog channel. It'll mostly be me shouting at people to get out of the way on the escalator.
Move! Get out the way!
What's that? Yeah, I was going to say that song, but that goes that way. Move! Get out the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Yeah, I travel best alone. And also because I have status, I get access to lounges. And do you really want me in lounges going, look at the lounge, look at the lounge? No, because it makes it look like I'm some, some
Twat.
rich fool doing rich fool things. When in reality, I'm still flying economy. In reality, I'm still flying economy everywhere. No, Dom says I don't share lounge access with him. There have been times where I'm literally going into the lounge, and because my airline allows me to bring in one guest, I sometimes just ask somebody, hey, do you want to come in the lounge? You can be my guest. And as long as they don't break anything, it's fine. So. Oh, George has decided he's had enough. Oh yeah, that we've been going on too long. If I was more comfortable and confident, I may do more vlogging style. I look at some of the stuff that somebody like Laurie Wired does, and for some reason she's able to do it on the move really well. And I wonder if that's because she does it where people around her don't judge her. If I try and do that in London, I get my stuff nicked and stolen. Yeah, if I try and walk around with a DJI Osmo in the park, and try to put out a video a day or a couple of shorts a day or something, I would have that stolen off me pretty quickly. Or at least I wouldn't be in a position where I would feel comfortable enough. If I was 6'2" and built, sure. But as a 5'5", 5'6" male, who doesn't strike an imposing tone, it's not just it's not the fact, it's not this violent wrecktide. Plenty of London you can walk in absolutely no problem whatsoever. It's just a feeling of personal security. They don't say take out your phone, don't flash your watch, that sort of thing. And so I'd rather not test a physical interaction with people if I had the opportunity. Well, George is gone. We're at the end of our schedule. I think.
Apologies, I had to run to the bathroom really quick.
Well, it's okay because we're about to finish anyway.
Okay. I tried to wait, but
and we do appreciate your super chats, Jay.
Yes.
We do have Patrick on video going this. No, he stopped. Well, he stopped doing that right at the beginning. He now does a proper intro.
Yes.
Which I wish I had the forethought to do that more often, rather than just vomit into the camera.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's it. We'll wrap up here. Good to see everybody. Yeah. The next big thing on our list is AMD in a few weeks. Yep, but we'll be Raise, like I say, in a couple of weeks.
I won't be at Raise, but I will be at DAC. So,
well, DAC's just after AMD. So
yes.
Yep.
So
okay, cool. Well, I do have an outro. And with that, let's call it a wrap. Many thanks to all of you who have been here from start to finish for yet another one of our poutines. We really appreciate your support, and it helps us to continue what we love to do. And we hope you like talking about these chips as well. You can find us on Twitter or Discord. We have websites you can go to. Links are all down in the video description. But it's goodbye from me, and a goodbye from him. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Have a good one, folks.
If you like this content, there are multiple ways to support the channel. You can like and subscribe this video, and many thanks for doing so. There's also Patreon, which gives you access to our Discord. There's a merchandise store and a newsletter, links in the description. For all of you who do contribute, thank you. You are keeping me well fed.